they're here.
Hey, it's nice to see you. Welcome to Radio VTV. I'm your host, DJ DynaMatt.
The people's DJ.
El Guapo.
This is the first episode of Radio VTV.
Woohoo!
Well, this is the first video transformation of Radio V. This project has been going on live for a while. In print, live, and for years on the radio, and now in video. I'll tell the history on a later episode.
Let us know now.
That's sweet, but we have science, art, music, and charity to explore. But now that you're here, we can get things started. Radio VTV are science, art, music, and charity.
We start with art and see the Upcycled garden where Art-Attaboy turns his recycling into a Dr. Seussian forest.
For science, we talk with experimental physicist Dr. Chris O'Grady about what is a particle accelerator.
Our musical feature is by pianist, singer-songwriter Jill Tracy performing a haunting piano concerto outside among the redwood trees.
For charity, we participate in the Pittsburg Marina Coastal Cleanup.
All this with more music from our party. Let's check in with arts correspondent, DynaMatt.
Looking good.
I like your shoelaces.
I stole them from the president. I am roving reporter DynaMatt here with one of my absolute favorite earthlings, Art-Attaboy, and we are going to be discussing his latest project, the recycled garden.
It's an upcycled garden.
Upcycled garden.
Sure.
All right, so the upcycled garden, where Art-Attaboy takes various household items that are going to be disposed of somehow, like recycling, like scraps of paper and bottles and jars.
Prescription bottles, takeout containers, and everything that comes in our house. It's kind of like the project becomes like a diary of our daily consumption. And when you flip them over, you can see used COVID tests or gluten-free waffle boxes sometimes. But underneath the new ones, especially the ones that hang from the ceiling, you'll see high blood pressure well, actually, you won't see them, but the shapes, a lot of them are defined or originate from prescription bottles, lemonade, things, all sorts of Listerine bottles, and all sorts of things. So it's interesting because it makes you more aware of the things that come in, the packaging that we're around, and that we consume, and how we consume it, and why. Makes me think twice, and also makes me appreciate them in a strange way, in the way they're made and why they're made that way. So and it's also a very thrifty way to be as an artist as well.
Yeah, your supplies just come in no matter what.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Ideally, there would be no supplies that come in, I guess.
And you don't have to take out anywhere near as much recycling as most people do.
That is true. That is true. But yes, I limited to the things that we purchase and things, so we're not going into every, you know.
You're not buying supplies for it, besides the paint and stuff like
sometimes with paper and things like that. But the thing is, I'm in a house with another artist, so some of her failed paintings, or what she considers a failed paintings, becomes paper, which I use for a sculpture and stuff.
Oh, that's so cool.
There's DNA from all of us in there. There's what, I don't know, it's like a DNA version of provenance, you know? So, you know, provenance is that you can actually have proof that an artist touched or owned or a work of art. Well, there's actually probably my, you know, residue on all of those things, and also the things that we consume in our house, including rabbit hair at this point.
Well, so when I explain it to people, they get an idea. But then when I show them, it looks like a Dr. Seuss like landscape.
Well, that's good. I think so. Yeah, you know, it's funny because I have a lot of influences, and I never shy away from them. I love Dr. Seuss. Ruth Asawa is getting in there recently. This guy, Jean Dubuffet, he's a French artist who did things with styrofoam, the world's worst materials, and he cut things in styrofoam, very popular in France. He also coined the term art brut. He was a herald of the outsider art movement. He was the first collector of art from asylums, that's the word. And so he heralded that work and collected it. And kind of brought that to, elevated it in public consciousness. Very interesting guy, very, very fun. So him, Sid Mead, the futurist, I got to meet him before he passed. He was a big influence on myself.
So when did this project originally debut?
So this happened during COVID, when we had lots of magazine boxes from our magazines. So we had tons of magazine boxes, and normally we have to cart them away. And I think we were paying somebody to grab them and to bring them in a truck and cart them away. And at the time we were packing everything out ourselves too, like thousands. I think we packed out like 20,000. Who knows?
Oh my gosh!
Over the time, and we were spraying everything down with bleach, all of our pallets and everything. It was a nutty time. So, and at that time we had it seems weird, but we had a succulent that grew outside of our house. And
you love that word.
Yeah, I do like that word. But we had I named him Timothy, and then I started putting all of our shows got canceled, so I started putting flyers up about Timothy to come see Timothy, the amazing succulent. So then what happened was our neighbors started coming around, and at that time, if you remember, it was like a weird. We were all NPC zombies walking around with masks outside, like it was like that like Paperboy, like that old video game. Everybody's avoiding everybody, right?
But they still want to go for a walk.
Like The Sims or something, yeah. So we're all doing that, or Sim City. So we're all doing that. But everybody started coming to see Timothy, who, by the way, evidently, the sprout of Timothy was the last sprout of Timothy. Every succulent or agave plant has this last sprout that goes up into the air. It was going past our roof of our house.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but it wasn't, in hindsight, it wasn't the biggest succulent in our neighborhood. But he was the most famous. So people started coming by, and they started taking selfies with Timothy. And what that did was, that really reframed the way I look at things. That and a project I did called Game of Shrooms, which makes people think differently about their neighborhood that they live in. So that made me say, listen, stop complaining about the resources you don't have and look at the things you do have. I'm not the biggest Andy Warhol fan, but what I do know for certain is I'll never look at a Campbell soup can the same way again without taking an extra special look at it because of Andy Warhol. So that idea of those things, and that art is around us, and the world we live in, we're always looking for another thing, or the right environment, or the right opportunities. Well, those opportunities, what's more indicative, or what's more representative of the way of where I live and how I'm living and what I'm thinking about? Well, it's my neighborhood, what I'm consuming, why I'm consuming it, and the things I have around me. So thankfully, I actually get to consume things and do these things. But it just made me look at things differently, where I wasn't just trying to find, and it was so personal. So I started doing it also for art therapy.
Oh, cool.
had a pretty bad neurological condition, which I get multiple shots in the neck every 3 months about. And what this does is it really relieves. It seems to relieve it. I work on it more on these works constantly, and I get kind of obsessive about it. But it's also, it stems from using play as art therapy. So I'm never, nothing has a plan. There's no rulers. I never measure anything ever. That's one of my rules, is not to measure anything. If I do have to measure something, I measure it with something else and make a mark, and then that's it. But other than that, everything is pretty free form. I can work. I remember once working on a July 4th weekend while everybody was going to barbecues, and I could smell barbecue everywhere and everything. I spent the whole weekend doing this whole quote system where I tried to figure out how to do these things and you make them more portable and everything. It all sounded great, but it all ended up becoming nothing. So it's much better if I just roll with it and go with it. Every time I get a little epiphany, which everybody would be obvious to other people, especially people much smarter than I, who would go, oh, of course that makes that. Every time I come up with epiphany, I feel like I'm a little micro genius. You know? And I'm like, oh, this is the best thing ever. And then I get ultra excited and I say, I'm going to make a whole series of these. And then that's where the problems start happening. So it's better if I just go with it, see what happens, and keep rolling with it, and almost like Jackie Chan's Drunken Monkey style.
No, totally.
So you're responding to things that are being thrown at you, but you're giving it back to your art practice. So you're just taking it in and moving it, being flexible, moving it. Moving it another way, keep on making it, and so it started. The first show was at a place called Uma Gallery, which was a converted mortuary home in Oakland, and then it ended up going to Brea Gallery, and then it went to a hash house in LA, and then it went to the lobby of Titmouse Animation Studios, where they make Rick and Morty, and then it went to Meow Wolf in Las Vegas, then it went to a library. Where'd it go after that?
Was it San Francisco?
It's in San Francisco.
Ohio?
No, it didn't go to Ohio. It went to St. Louis at
St. Louis,
a place called the City Museum.
Yeah, the Adventure Museum, like Adventure Park Museum.
That place, and there's a new documentary on it that just came out, City Museum, which was the entire place is made out of upcycled materials that they found from the crumbling environment of St. Louis, especially in the 80s, that was falling down. All the architecture, they saved it all. And the person who made that, the artist who made that, his theory was if you have enough of something, it becomes a brick. So you could build off of. So there's things made out of like Twinkie molds and
so cool.
Everything. The entire place is a converted shoes factory. So it was appropriate that this thing was there, even though it's a lot prettier in a lot of ways. Aesthetically, it's totally different. The way it originated is similar. And so it's been to Portland, and now it's going to, I'm doing a thing in Santa Cruz. We're doing a 3-story version of it.
Oh, wow.
But it's going to Iowa.
Modesto.
It's going to Stockton. So you'll be seeing stuff from Stockton.
Yeah, so the power video will be flying in the future, in the past.
That's right, and then it eventually goes to Chattanooga for a year, to the Museum of Art and History there. Wait, is that Art and History? The Museum of American Art, that's what
Your thing's more traveled than most people?
It's crazy because this was not planned. Nothing was planned.
No, you were just honoring your beautiful succulent.
In a sense, that's kind of what happened, I think. It's more of a mindset. So it's funny how a mindset will change everything. I still do art shows and things, but this is as far as traditional, almost not retail art shows, but shows that are more traditional things on the wall and a couple sculptures and things. But these are all installations. They're all different. Each one, sometimes pieces get retired. I do sell a few of them.
New stuff gets built all the time too.
Always. That's the thing. They're always being built. And so while the one is going to be in Chattanooga for a year and a half or whatever, there'll still be more being made. So eventually they kind of come together like a circus, like the Barnum Bailey circus.
Totally.
And they'll create an even bigger one, or who knows where it'll go. I have no idea.
Yeah,
and that's part of it.
It's like the second Terminator.
Oh, the second Terminator?
Yeah, the pieces can come back.
That's true. So it's interesting.
Where can people find out more information?
Oh, use my Instagram, which you'll see below right now.
And then you can go to yumfactory.com.
And and you'll see things at yumfactory.com as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to show us these beautiful, beautiful pieces.
Thank you.
Thanks, Art, correspondent DynaMatt, and to Attaboy and Annie for being nice enough to being a part of Radio VTV. Fun fact.
Ada and Annie are the co-founders of magazine High Fructose.
Now, a word from our sponsor.
Thank you to Vlog and Blamo for the sponsorship.
Up next, we have Professor DynaMatt McGillicuddy with Chris O'Grady, an experimental physicist that works with the Particle Accelerator SLAC National Accelerator Laboratory at Stanford.
Well, thanks, DynaMatt. We are joined here on the Couch of Science with the one and only Dr. Chris O'Grady. And we're going to be talking about particle accelerators. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing well, a little bit stressed out from the particle accelerator, but doing well in spite of it.
There we go. So for people who are out there who don't know, let's talk about what is a particle accelerator. So matter is made up of molecules. Molecules are primarily made up of atoms. Molecules are primarily made up of elements, either one or combined. So you have hydrogen or carbon, you might have a hydrocarbon. But if you break it down, then it's just a molecule of an element, and then each molecule is made up of atoms that consist of a proton, an electron, and nucleus?
Neutrons.
Neutron.
They're major ingredients.
There we go. So a particle accelerator takes the electrons off of an atom. What's the normal molecule that it pulls it off of?
I believe the electrons originate from a tungsten cathode, but there's
Okay.
a chance that I had that wrong.
Okay.
So
we take the electrons off of a molecule or off of an atom, and then there's a little corral that we put the atoms into while they wait, and you get enough of them, because we're not sending one atom at another atom. We're sending 100,000 atoms at 100,000 atoms.
yeah, we're sending many electrons at a time. Some accelerators also accelerate protons, and accelerators also will sometimes use the electrons and protons and smash them into targets to generate antimatter electrons and antimatter protons,
Oh wow.
and then you will collide the matter and antimatter.
Okay.
So there's a whole variety.
Okay, well, we'll stick with the basics for now, and then we'll get into the stuff. So, for people who've never heard of a particle accelerator, they might think, oh, it's spooky, or it's going to make a black hole or something like that. But the size of the atoms are teeny. So imagine the track that we're sending on. It's not much bigger than a hair, correct? It's really, really tiny.
Depends on the accelerator, but yeah, the one accelerator that I worked on for about 10 years, 12 years, I believe it was, at the collision point, it was about 10 millionths of a meter high, and then it was wider. It's been a number of years since I worked on it, but I want to say some number of millimeters wide, so the collision spot, because you're trying to squish them down as much as possible so you get as many collisions when they collide. And there's actually a very intense focus to get that maximum number of collisions. But yeah, 10 millionths of a meter high is my recollection.
Okay, so imagine if the track is the size of human hair. Then, imagine that hair is enlarged to the size of planet Earth, and the atoms that we're sending down are like the size of a Nissan Sentra. So it's a small track, but the things that we're sending are super tiny. And when they collide, I mean, you can't see what we're sending down. You have to just have sensors. And one of the main reasons why we use electrons is because then they can use magnets in the track to accelerate them. And are protons magnetic? Can they use protons that way too?
It's not so much that the magnets are used to steer the beam, and more what's used to accelerate the beams are the electric charge of the particles. So protons are positive, electrons are negative, and you create what's called an RF wave. So just like a wave at the beach, and the electrons and protons will surf on top of these RF waves in something called an RF cavity. And that's what gives them the boost towards the speed of light.
Wow. Okay, so they're going really, really fast. And the very, very first particle accelerator was invented here in Berkeley and could fit in the palm of a hand.
Yeah, I went and saw that
neat.
a number of years ago. It's a museum whose name I forget, of that little tiny D-shaped cyclotron, if I recall correctly.
That's so cool.
And it has all these weird things coming out of it that they use to inject the gases.
I've only read it. I've only read about it, but you actually got to see it. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's. I think they have it in one of the museums up there. I remember seeing a picture of it as a kid in a book that I read in the 8th grade. When I decided I'd like to try to do particle physics as a career. And so seeing that little tiny particle accelerator, the first one, was pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome. So, okay, so we've got the basics down now. We take an atom off of a tungsten, and then we take
Say electron.
Or an electron. We take a few 100,000 electrons, and then we put them in a little corral, to sort of storm before we start accelerating them. And then we use magnets and electricity to get them just flying, almost at the speed of light. And then we smash them into each other. And so that's why you get the term atom smasher, or particle accelerator. It's a particle being accelerated. So now we got a better idea of what a particle accelerator is. So then...
And some particle accelerators, some of them smash particles together. Now the particle accelerator that we've been working at for the last 13 years, maybe more, 14, it wiggles the electrons, and when charged particles wiggle, they spit off light, called synchrotron radiation. And in our case, it's done to get light that's in the frequency of X-rays. And you get these little short bursts of X-rays that are about 1/millionth of a billionth of a second long. And you smash those X-rays that came from the electron beam into targets. So there's a number of different ways you can use the particle accelerator. But in the end, you're correct, it's always smashing things together fundamentally.
Nice. And so some people might ask, well, some people think there's just one particle accelerator at CERN over in Europe. But there's particle accelerators all over the planet and all over America.
I think the old cathode ray tubes, in some sense, are particle accelerators as well.
In the TV.
Yeah, in the old cathode ray tubes, you would heat an element at the back, and then use electric fields to accelerate the particles so that they would smash into the screen and give you the appropriate glow.
Oh wow, that's so funny. So everybody had a particle accelerator in their house at one point.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So, what are some of the reasons why we smash particles into each other?
The experiment that I worked on for about 10 years tried to understand an asymmetry in matter and antimatter. Turns out matter and antimatter are almost mirror opposites, but in some ways, turns out matter is just slightly different than antimatter. And this is bizarre, that matter and antimatter are slightly different. And people think that this is one of the reasons why there might be more matter than antimatter in the universe. Turns out you need a few things to explain why there's more matter than antimatter in the universe, but this small asymmetry is one of them. As a matter of fact, an interesting fact, one of the physicists who won the Nobel Prize for learning that left and right in physics are not identical. died just in the last day. They won the Nobel Prize for being the first people to propose that left and right are not identical. Left and right are a little bit different when it comes to neutrinos. Neutrinos always spin one way. Maybe that's too much information.
No.
That's what distinguishes left from right.
That's how it spins.
Yeah, is how the neutrino spins.
Huh.
And so that's a bizarre thing in physics. Physics, for me, that's why I got into it, it's so magically weird. And left is slightly different from right. Matter is slightly different from antimatter. How bizarre.
That's so cool. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for being a part of this ceremony. We really appreciate it.
Wow, that was very informative, and I better understand what a particle accelerator is. Thank you, Professor DynaMatt McGillicuddy and Chris O'Grady. Fun fact.
Did you know Chris practiced guitar for the band Vertison Arc Materializer in a defunct particle accelerator?
Would you like to learn more?
Check out vertisonarcmaterializer.bandcamp.com.
Now, for a word from our sponsor.
I always thought that I learned colors wrong, but as I grew older, that's when the doctor confirmed that I was colorblind. So today, we're opening up these glasses that my dad bought for me for my birthday. They're made by a company called Enchroma. Such a difference.
They worked!
Thank you to Enchroma for sponsoring Radio VTV.
Up next are the San Francisco Botanical Gardens in Golden Gate Park as a part of the Piano Flower Lounge series. We have a performance by Jill Tracy.
curtains. We're trying to catch a glimpse of you. Slowly watch the fruit die, still hanging on the vine. Redemption from a bottle that stays empty all the time. But my dear, it's worth the pain when they're pulling your insides out. Baby, know your nemesis is posing as your best friend. You don't believe the newspapers, they're telling lies again. The cold hand of the healers will slice your soul in two. They roll out the red carpet just to pull it out from under you. My dear, it's worth the pain when they're pulling your insides out. They're pulling your insides out. Pulling your insides out. Baby, mind the vultures, they're circling round the bone, feeding from the idols. They think they can draw blood from a stone, but the more the diamond glitters, the more it can deceive. The truth lay in the treasure of what we disbelieve. But my dear, it's worth the pain when they're pulling your insides out. They're pulling your insides out. Pulling your insides out. smoke, my lips are quivering. Oh, I like the way you leave me cold. I like the way you shake the shutter so pristine. My teeth would chattering. Oh, I like the way you leave me cold. And the sky's gone out. There's no reason. Hollow dark in this mausoleum. And underneath you I shiver like stone. Like the way that you trick the trembled porcelain. I'm frozen heavenly. Oh, I like the way you leave me cold. And I'm petrified. I like the way you make me shiver. Silver smoke, my lips are quivering. Oh, I like the way you leave me cold. I like the way that you shake the shutter tip blue. The flesh turns to ice cream. Oh, I like the way you leave me cold. The sky's gone out. There's no reason. Hollow dark in this mausoleum. Underneath you, chill me to the bone. I like the way that you trick the trembled porcelain. I'm frozen heavenly. Oh, I like the way you leave me cold. 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 I like the way you leave me cold.
That was ethereal and haunting. That performance was in Golden Gate Park in San Francisco, California, at the Botanical Garden as part of the Flower Piano Lounge.
I plan on going next year.
Fun fact,
Did you know Jill had her music featured on the TV shows Dexter and NCIS? She has also done collaborations with members of The Doors, Susie and the Banshees, and Bauhaus.
would you like to learn more?
Learn more about Jill Tracy at jilltracy.com and attend the next Flower Piano Lounge performance at gggp.org.
Now for a word from our sponsor. Thank you to the handsome chums of MHA for sponsoring Radio VTV.
For the charity part of this episode, I participated at the Pittsburgh Coastal Cleanup and interviewed event organizer Olivia Ortega. There were 60 volunteers, but I didn't want to bother them with taking videos of them while they're cleaning up, especially since they didn't do that. So, but my friend Kat and Herbert filmed and cleaned up, and the organizer left out Easter eggs for the volunteers, and I got a brand new usable water bottle. Black, my favorite color. So, originally I was going to feature 15 minutes of the show to the charity side. However, besides the interview, it would have been 11 minutes of me getting sweaty cleaning up the beach. I don't think anybody would want to see that.
I would want to see that.
Oh, really? All right, I'll add that footage to the Patreon and the OnlyFans page.
You You have an OnlyFans page?
Yeah, I thought it would be funny.
Do you get naked?
Oh, no. People would pay me to put my clothes on. Check out the live journal for extra footage, and that'll be available on the OnlyFans and Patreon page.
Now let's get to roving charity worker DynaMatt for the Pittsburgh Coastal Cleanup.
Charity worker, DynaMatt, and I'm here with Olivia Ortega. Olivia Ortega, the beach harbor master.
I'm the harbor master for City of Pittsburgh Marina.
And we just did a big cleanup today.
We sure did.
And you organized it.
I did.
Can you tell me about how that started?
Sure. Actually, 41 years ago, the California Coastal Commission, produced its first national coastal cleanup. It's just to get the community volunteer and learn about, what kind of garbage there are and what needs to be, thrown out, and just to protect our environment and conservation of our water. So,
well, that's awesome.
And so here I've been doing it at Martinez Marina since about 2006. So each location requires a site captain, which I have been a site captain since 2006 in Martinez, and I had worked with East Lake Regional Parks over there. And when the City of Pittsburgh hired me for the position here as a harbor master in 2022, I started the coastal cleanup here. So this would be our third year here in Pittsburgh.
Oh wow! So you've been cleaning up this coast for 19 years.
Yes.
Oh wow, that's awesome. How many pounds of trash do you think got removed today?
I would say probably about a little over 1 ton, garbage was removed today. And the better part of that is that we had about 58 or so kids from the Pittsburgh High School. It teaches them to just, volunteer for their environment, for their community, and they just enjoy, being here at the marina on a Saturday afternoon for 4 hours, and then they get credit for their community service that way.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Well, it was a perfect day for it, really.
Yes.
And the coastline looks way better.
Yeah.
Looks like we got everything, I think.
It's an ongoing process,
Oh, yeah.
but the California Coastal Commission did this one-day event every year, and it usually happens around September, so that they could actually have a tally of, how many cigarette butts, how many paper bags, how many items that may have found all in just a one-day period.
So, if people want to learn more, where could they go to online?
They could visit the City of Pittsburgh Marina website, or they could also visit the California Coastal Commission website. We have our sign up here for the City of Pittsburgh, and get a hold of me here at the Harbor office. So
that's awesome. When is the next cleanup?
the next cleanup will be again 2026 in September. So whatever the second Saturday lands, what date that is, that's when the cleanup will be.
Oh, that's awesome. And I'm sure if people want to do their own, they can just contact you and come clean up the park or something?
Yes, they
That's
can.
awesome.
Yeah, and there's also an app that they've developed now that you could actually download the app on your smartphone, and actually if you collect some garbage, then you could just tally the garbage that you collected in that form too.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate all your hard work. I'm sure the marina and its marina life is grateful for all that you've done, and it's a ton of trash that the fish don't have to deal with.
Yeah, and the good thing is that the MDRR, the garbage company, provides us with a free 20 or 40 yard container that all of the garbage that we've collected could be put in that garbage, and then they weigh it for me, and then they report how much it weighs, and then I get the accurate number.
Oh, that's awesome. MDRR.
Yes.
Well, good for them
Mount
too.
Diablo resource, yeah.
Oh, neat. Well, thank you so much for all your hard work, and I really appreciate you letting me be a part of it.
Fantastic. Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Great work, roving charity worker DynaMatt. Getting some fresh air and sunshine while cleaning up the waterways with friends.
Yeah, it's a great way to spend the day. I want to acknowledge the graphic design work on our cool logo by Happy Man Creative at happymancreative.com and Matt from The Rhines.
Thank you to the Rhines and Manny D of Knoll's for the theme song.
Both their bands will be featured on upcoming shows.
Thank you to Art-Attaboy for the video footage for the Upcycled Gardens.
He's always making my dreams come true.
We appreciate the filming of Cat at the Beach Cleanup.
Big time shout out to Chroma, our first show sponsor.
Thank you to MHA, those handsome chums, for being the second show sponsorship.
And thank you to Log for sponsoring this episode. We really appreciate Duckmandu, Aaron Katz, for that awesome, it was more than an accordion performance. That was something special.
Shout out to Sweet Tea for helping with some tech support.
Make sure to Golden Gate Park for the next Flower Lounge series.
Thank you to Sue Liang Images and Arlene Kabata for offering the usage of her photos from the California Coastal Cleanup Day.
And big time thanks to all our friends here at the party and who've been helping out with Film Day.
Whoever is helping Film Day.
Thank you to the scientists, artists, and musicians that are part of the Radio VTV. And for sure, our biggest thank you goes to you for tuning in and watching the show.
Thank you, thank you.
If you have insight, please let us know in the comments. I'm new at this. I want to learn along the way. I'm working on making this be more of a party where we're all part of it rather than observation.
If you felt like I earned it, give the show a like.
It has to be in your heart, though. Don't just give us a pity like.
I don't care if when you see this, the stats of the video say 4 views and 14 dislikes. Don't give the show a pity like.
Only like it if you really like what you saw.
If you want to see more, consider subscribing.
There are more shows in the works planned for each Friday night.
I would be delighted to have you share the show, but please don't share with everybody.
I'm not making this for the lowest common denominator.
That small percentage of humans who are not crushed by the Prussian industrial education complex and maintained your creativity, your curiosity, your sense of humor, you are who this show is for.
The lovers and dreamers.
Hey. Today we learned about particle accelerators, saw cool sculptures made from recycling, heard beautiful music performed in the woods, and learned how to get involved with the next Pittsburgh Coastal Cleanup.
We really appreciate you being here with us on this journey.
We have more science, art, music, and charity in the works for the next show for you.
It's your party, and I have a little song that I wrote for you for being here.
Hit him with the outro.